Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making bean thread wrapped tiger shrimp. To start this dish we need to make a marinade. So to a bowl of a mini chopper we're going to add a 1/2 inch piece of ginger, 3 cloves of garlic, a chili pepper of your choice, and a 1/2 cup of cilantro. It's okay if you get some of the stems in there, it's just going to taste like cilantro. Some herbs, the stems are a little too intense, but this should be fine. Then we're going to add in a pinch of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. This is just going to help the blender mix this up. And we're going to blitz this up until we get a nice even puree. I do like to go in with a little spatula and scrape down the sides, just to get any of those larger pieces down and incorporated. This is not going to be a super smooth puree. It's going to be a little chunky, but that's okay if it has a little texture. So just scraping down the sides of the bowl, popping the lid back on, and blitzing this again. Once that is turned into a lovely paste, we're going to add that to a large bowl, along with a teaspoon of gochugaru, which is a Korean chili flake, a tablespoon of cooking wine. I'm using Shaoxing, use whatever you have, and a tablespoon of dark soy sauce. We're going to give this a really good mix until that's well incorporated. This is 1.5 pounds of tiger shrimp. I've cleaned and deveined this, but I've left that tail part on just to make it easier to pick up. We're going to pop this into our marinade, give this a really good massage to make sure all the shrimp is coated, and we're going to set that aside at room temperature to marinate while we address the rest of our ingredients. Now let's talk noodles. I am ashamed to say, but I did this recipe 3 times. I started out with these larger vermicelli noodles. They were a little too thick. I tried this gorgeous jade rice ramen. It completely melted as soon as they hit the oil. The rice vermicelli did work, but I wanted to go with bean threads because it's a little sticky, and that's important, and you'll see why in a minute. We're just going to pop these into a little warm water and let them soften up. And while that's softening, we can make a little sauce. So to a small bowl, we're going to add a teaspoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, and a tablespoon of black vinegar. If you can't find black rice vinegar, just use regular rice vinegar. Adding that in, that was a little bit more than a tablespoon, but it should be fine. We're also going to add in about a teaspoon of your favorite chili crunch or chili flake or chili oil. This is Fly by Jing. It's one of my favorites. We're going to give this a really good mix until that sugar dissolves, and that is our dipping sauce done. Now the noodles have rehydrated, so we're going to drain them out, and I want to spread these out onto a towel just to get off any excess moisture, just spreading them out with my hands and letting those sit for a second. Now to assemble, we are going to take a nice long strand of our bean thread noodles. This is mung beans, and once they rehydrate, they get very clear, but they also get very sticky, which is important for this. So we're going to take one of our shrimp, and starting from the tail end, we're going to just start wrapping this around. And the stickiness is key here because it'll stick together. When you get to the tail end of your bean thread, just grab a little bit more until you've wrapped your entire little shrimp. And we're going to set this aside on a parchment lined baking sheet. And now we can go ahead and head over to the stove. So into an inch of vegetable oil, I've heated up to 350 degrees. I'm going to fry this in batches, and this is going to go very fast. We only need to fry these for about a minute and a half until those bean threads get nice and crispy and the shrimp is cooked. And we don't want to overcook this. After about a minute and a half, we're going to give this a little flip so the other side can get crispy as well. And then we're going to pull this out, put this on a cooling rack, salt this immediately. I like to go in and skim any of the fried noodle that is still left in the pan before I add in the next batch, just to reduce any burned taste in our oil. So just continue to do this until all your shrimp is fried, and this is looking gorgeous. Now to plate, I've just set them in a bowl with the dipping sauce in the middle, and now we can go ahead and give this a taste. The shrimp is cooked perfectly. It's still juicy and succulent. That crispy bean thread noodle on the outside adds this nice crispy crunchy texture. The dipping sauce is spicy, sweet, and salty, and everything you want a dipping sauce to be. But there it is, bean thread wrapped tiger shrimp. I hope you all try to make this in your home. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a like. If you loved it, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because I put out new videos every Thursday. Thank you again, and until next time, happy cooking.